There's an old saying that defense wins championships. Steve Spagnuolo and the Kansas City Chiefs are proving it again as they aim for a historic third Super Bowl in a row. But what's the secret behind their unstoppable defense? In the AFC Championship against the Bills, Spagnuolo called a brilliant blitz on 4th and 5, a high-stakes moment revealing his defensive genius. The Chiefs delivered not one, but two free rushers against Josh Allen, crushing the Bills' hopes in an instant. This wasn't luck, it was careful setup all game long, waiting to unleash this decisive play. The final play that sealed the Chiefs' victory. In the AFC Championship against the Bills, Steve Spagnuolo called a brilliant blitz on 4th and 5, a high-stakes moment revealing his defensive genius. The Chiefs delivered not one, but two free rushers against Josh Allen, crushing the Bills' hopes in an instant. This wasn't luck, it was careful setup all game long, waiting to unleash this decisive play. The Bills had little to no hope on this final play, as the Chiefs' defense executed a nearly flawless plan. This play demonstrated exactly why defense wins championships. The pressure came seemingly from everywhere, with blitzing cornerbacks and linebackers forcing Allen to scramble. But crucially, the two pass rushers that broke through were a result of perfectly baited offensive line decisions. Through the game, the Chiefs made the Bills adjust their protection schemes, especially sliding towards linebacker Nick Bolton. That pressure forced weaknesses, and Spagnuolo's defense exploited them expertly. On that final snap, the offensive line was overloaded on one side, leaving key defenders like Bolton and Trent McDuffie free to pursue the quarterback. The play was dead before it even got started, and the Bills' entire season vanished right before their eyes. It was the culmination of a masterfully executed defensive plan, with Spagnuolo playing a high-level chess game against the Bills' offense, showing why the Chiefs are undeniably one of the most feared defensive units in the NFL. Nick Bolton's key role in the blitz. Linebacker Nick Bolton is the heart of the Chiefs' defensive scheme, constantly lurking around the line of scrimmage, ready to disrupt the offense's rhythm and create pressure. His ability to read offensive formations and anticipate plays forces opposing teams to adjust their blocking schemes, often sliding their offensive line specifically to counter his presence. Bolton's speed and instincts make him a nightmare for quarterbacks on passing downs, and his versatility allows the Chiefs to disguise blitzes effectively. In critical moments, like the 4th and 5 play against the Bills, Bolton's positioning was crucial in generating a free rusher, contributing directly to the Chiefs shutting down the opposing offense. He isn't just a pass rusher. His knack for reading run plays and filling gaps makes him an all-around force, helping the Chiefs maintain dominance against both run and pass attacks. The defensive linemen play a vital role by engaging blockers deliberately, freeing Bolton to roam and make impactful plays, showcasing how the Chiefs' defense functions as a cohesive unit rather than relying on individual efforts. Bolton's influence stretches beyond physical skills. His leadership and football IQ raise the entire defense's level, proving pivotal in high-pressure situations where one play can decide the game's outcome. The power of two-high safety coverage. Steve Spagnuolo's defense uses two-high safety coverage more than nearly any team in the league, allowing greater coverage diversity and disguising blitzes effectively. Unlike the standard single safety deep, having two safeties lets the Chiefs alternate between cover 2 zone, cover 4, and disguise cover 1 man or cover 3 zone, leaving quarterbacks guessing and off balance. This formation lets the defense play both aggressive pass coverage and unpredictable blitzes, because one safety can roll down to cover underneath routes, while the other stays deep to prevent big plays. The dual safety system creates a chess match before the ball is snapped, as the offense tries to read which safety will drop back and which will attack. This uncertainty forces quarterbacks to hesitate or make rush decisions, increasing the chance of mistakes. Furthermore, by blitzing cornerbacks in condensed formations, supported by the two high safeties holding deep coverage, Spagnuolo can unleash extra rushers without leaving his defense vulnerable downfield. This strategic flexibility becomes especially important in crunch time, like the Chiefs' AFC Championship game, where spacing and assignments are critical. Two high safeties give the Chiefs the ability to mix zone and man coverages seamlessly, confuse opposing QBs, and deliver relentless pressure at unexpected moments. It's a complex system that can be risky in the running game, since it leaves fewer defenders near the line of scrimmage. But Spagnuolo's creativity and his players' discipline maximize its strengths. In short, the power of two high safety coverage is not just about protection, it's about control, deception, and timing, the very elements that make the Chiefs' defense a nightmare to face. Cornerbacks as blitzers. One of the most unusual and effective strategies in Steve Spagnuolo's defensive playbook is blitzing cornerbacks. He blitzes his cornerbacks more than any other team in the NFL, exploiting formations where receivers are tightly grouped. This tactic works perfectly with the Chiefs' two-high safety coverage system, allowing the team to send extra rushers without sacrificing deep coverage. When receivers line up in condensed formations, Spagnuolo uses a technique called a nasty split, positioning cornerbacks about 5 yards off the right tackle. This spacing creates confusion for the opposing offense, as it allows one of the two high safeties to drop down and cover the receiver left open by the blitzing cornerback. The safety dropping down gives the defense a safety net, so the cornerback can attack aggressively and pressure the quarterback. This strategy is risky in theory, but Spagnuolo's careful alignment and coverage schemes minimize the risk of leaving receivers wide open deep. For example, in the AFC Championship game against the Bills, this approach helped create a game-winning play on the final drive. Trent McDuffie, a star cornerback, lined up over the receiver and then blitzed with safety help over the top. This dual-layer pressure is difficult for quarterbacks to read quickly, causing hesitation that can mean the difference between a completed pass and a sack. Blitzing cornerbacks also adds a layer of unpredictability to the Chiefs' defense, forcing offenses to prepare for unusual pressure angles. Opposing quarterbacks need to constantly decipher which cornerbacks may rush and which will stay in coverage, making it harder to execute clean plays under pressure. This aggressive corner blitzing, combined with Spagnuolo's overall defensive philosophy, highlights how the Chiefs create chaos and opportunities on defense, helping them succeed at the highest levels. Team defense and selfless play. The Chiefs' defense thrives on teamwork and sacrifice. Defensive linemen like Toa Wharton willingly absorb double teams, allowing linebackers like Nick Bolton to roam free and make plays. This unselfish commitment to a collective strategy explains how they handle complex blocking schemes and maintain balance between run and pass defense. Since the Chiefs play a two-high safety scheme, they can't rely on single-gap aggressive tactics, so they have to play a less aggressive style, focusing on team defense where each player works to disrupt the offense's rhythm collectively. For example, Wharton takes on double teams to prevent blockers from climbing to the second level, effectively paving the way for Bolton to operate freely. Wharton sacrifices individual stats and glory for the good of the team, which highlights the championship-level buy-in of this unit. This teamwork also allows flexibility in defensive fronts, such as using 50 fronts with 5 players on the line, and just Bolton and a nickel corner on the second level. It's a risk because it exposes the defense to the pass, but it helps overload the opponent's zone blocking schemes and stifle the run, alongside physical players like corners Nazy Johnson, who isn't afraid to absorb blocks from much bigger opponents. The unit's cohesion and willingness to sacrifice enable the Chiefs to execute their scheme at an elite level. Ultimately, their success comes down to every defender putting the team first, playing their role selflessly, and trusting their teammates to pick up where others leave off. This mindset, combined with brilliant coaching, turns the Chiefs' defense into a formidable and nearly unstoppable unit. Aggressive press coverage and green dog blitzes. The Chiefs play press coverage more than any other team in the NFL, mixing it with aggressive green dog blitzes that catch offenses off guard. Green dog blitzing means a defender who has a receiver in man coverage, but when he sees that receiver try to block, he immediately adds to the pass rush, turning a coverage assignment into a surprise blitz. This tactic is risky because it leaves a receiver uncovered if the blitz fails, but when executed perfectly, it overwhelms the quarterback and disrupts timing. Spagnuolo's defense uses this tactic to force quick decisions from opposing QBs, increasing the chances of mistakes or turnovers. Combine that with their preference for press coverage, which jams receivers at the line and limits their route options, and it becomes a suffocating defensive strategy. Receivers struggle to get into their patterns, while the quarterback faces pressure he doesn't expect. The combination of tight, physical press coverage and sudden blitzes creates constant confusion, making the Chiefs' defense a nightmare to attack. This aggressive, high-risk, high-reward approach exemplifies Spagnuolo's defensive philosophy, where calculated gambles turn into game-changing plays. It's a main reason why the Chiefs can be relentless and unpredictable, breaking down even the most talented offenses when it matters most. Deceptive pre-snap alignments and coverage variations. Spagnuolo excels at confusing quarterbacks with complex pre-snap alignments, often masking his true intentions until the last possible moment. Before the snap, defenders shift positions and safeties rotate, making it nearly impossible for the offense to predict who will rush and who will cover. This forces quarterbacks to constantly adjust their reads, increasing the chance of hesitation or mistakes. Unlike conventional defenses that reveal their hand early, the Chiefs' looks change wildly between moments, disguising blitzes as coverage and coverage as blitzes. This cat-and-mouse game plays directly into Spagnuolo's hands, allowing him to manipulate both the quarterback's mind and the offensive line's blocking schemes. A typical tactic involves rolling safeties down into short zones or man coverage after the snap, while still maintaining deep coverage options. Quarterbacks are left guessing which zones are covered and which defenders will rush, scrambling their timing and rhythm. One memorable example saw Trent McDuffie lined up man-to-man against a receiver with one safety showing blitz. Just as the play began, a second safety flew in over the top, turning what seemed like man coverage into a near-impossible double coverage. This level of disguise forces offensive coordinators to make split-second adjustments, often disrupting their planned routes and timing patterns. The Chiefs use multiple coverage variations that also muddy the waters for quarterbacks' pre-snap and post-snap reads, slowing down even the most experienced signal callers. In essence, Spagnuolo's defense is a masterclass in deception, using shifting alignments and coverage fluidity to control the game before the ball is even snapped, making their blitzes and coverage schemes nearly unpredictable and devastatingly effective. What it means for the Super Bowl and beyond. As the Chiefs prepare to clash with the Eagles in the Super Bowl, Spagnuolo's grizzled defense proves it can withstand any challenge. Combining aggressive blitzing, strategic coverages, and selfless teamwork, this defense isn't just good. They're a blueprint for championship success. If history repeats itself, the Chiefs will be raising the Lombardi Trophy once more. Steve Spagnuolo's innovative, aggressive, and deeply strategic defense is the backbone of the Chiefs' dominance. From game-winning blitzes to complex coverage schemes, it's not just talent. It's a masterclass in football chess. The question isn't just if the Chiefs can win a third Super Bowl in a row, but if any team can crack this defensive code. This defense has rewritten the playbook on how to combine pressure and coverage, disrupting offenses before they can execute their plans, their ability to adapt in real time, to disguise their intentions, and to force opponents into mistakes has made them nearly unstoppable. And beyond the X's and O's, it's the culture of sacrifice and trust that fuels this unit. Every player understands their role and buys into the bigger picture, which makes their execution so precise on the biggest stages. As other teams watch and try to copy, they'll realize how hard it is to replicate this kind of perfect harmony. The Chiefs' defense is more than a strategy. It's a statement, a reminder that in football, championships aren't just won by stars, but by smart, gritty, and relentless teams. So as the countdown to the Super Bowl continues, all eyes will be on this dominant defense to see if they can cement their legacy with a third consecutive title. One thing is clear. Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs have changed what it means to win through defense forever. Steve Spagnuolo's innovative, aggressive, and deeply strategic defense is the backbone of the Chiefs' dominance. From game-winning blitzes to complex coverage schemes, it's not just talent. It's a masterclass in football chess. The question isn't just if the Chiefs can win a third Super Bowl in a row, but if any team can crack this defensive code. This defense combines unselfish teamwork, high-level football IQ, and creative risk-taking to keep offenses off balance. Each blitz, every coverage disguise, all add up to a nightmarish puzzle for quarterbacks. For the Chiefs, defense isn't an afterthought. It's a championship weapon. And as they prepare to face the Eagles in the Super Bowl, it's clear that Spagnuolo's defense will once again be the deciding factor. Whether it's closing out tight games or shutting down elite offenses, this defense shows that championships truly are won by defense. The Chiefs aren't just chasing history, they're setting a new standard for excellence on defense. And only time will tell if anyone can match their relentless, masterful approach. But one thing is certain, when you face this defense, you're in for the toughest fight of your life.